AWS Marketplace allows users around the world to discover, purchase, migrate, and deploy software solutions. And now it's doing something else, minting $1 billion software sellers. JD Durkin spoke with Chris Grusz, Amazon Web Services Managing Director of Technology Partnerships. More about it. Let's take a listen.
So we're seeing our Q franchise used in a variety of ways. We see a lot of applications that will embed Q directly into their application itself. So have a kind of enriched chatbot type of experience. So it's sitting there and it's providing additional information to the buyer. And then we see people using things like Q Developer to provide code augmentation, code assist. A good example of that, GitLab is a great example where you can be developing in GitLab, and then if you need to have code generated on the fly alongside your pipeline development within GitLab, you can now do that because there's an integration between Q Developer and GitLab. And so we're seeing all kinds of really novel use cases. And of course, people are even embedding it underneath the hood. And so we'll see plenty of software that'll be available where we'll have our Q products underneath the product to actually provide better search capabilities, better vectoring, and so on. So we're seeing all kinds of really cool use cases, and the sky's the limit right now in terms of what we're doing with Q.
Well, speaking of sky's the limit, $1 billion in total contract value. This is nothing to sneeze at for huge names like Salesforce and Snowflake. How is AWS Marketplace minting these billion-dollar software sellers?
Yeah, I mean, AWS marketplaces in general are the new way for people to acquire technology. It brings all the sellers together so buyers can see everything in one place. And then one of the things that we really focus on with marketplaces is having a deeper integration experience to the rest of AWS. And so when you go and buy products that you just mentioned, it's actually a better experience. It's easier to install, easier to get up and running. A great example of that, so Databricks is a really good example where they've done a lot of integration with AWS Marketplace. So now when you're in the Databricks environment, you can actually click on a button that says buy with AWS. It sends that spend directly over to AWS. And then we've done deep integrations where it usually used to take upwards of 70 clicks to actually get a product like Databricks installed on AWS. We work with them to streamline that. So now it's down to 3 when you buy it through AWS Marketplace. And so when you put that all together, what we see is on average, our sellers that sell through Marketplace see an 80% larger deal size. Their efficiency in terms of closing deals goes up by 27%. And they get their deals done 40% faster. And that's all validated by Forrester. And so, when you put those 3 things together, you get great acceleration when you're selling through Marketplace. And so it's no surprise that you see the Oktas, the Splunks of the world, Salesforce all clearing $1 billion or even $2 billion, in revenue through Marketplace like Salesforce.
Yeah, Chris, I would not be doing my job as a financial journalist in 2025 if I did not ask you the ways AWS Marketplace is using AI to stay competitive. What more would you want people to know about the ways that you and your colleagues are integrating artificial intelligence directly into your platforms?
Yeah, so we take a lot of pride in drinking our own champagne. And so we use generative AI across Marketplace in a variety of ways. So we have over 25,000 listings in Marketplace. And as you can imagine, when someone needs to make a change to those listings, it followed a traditional process that went into a ticket, and then it went to someone that would actually answer that question. And on average, we'd have upwards of 7,000 tickets coming in to actually field those questions, just to make changes to their listings and any other types of questions they might have. We built an application leveraging Bedrock and using Anthropic models where it now reads that incoming ticket and it automatically provides a pre-formatted response to our call center agent. And they can actually take a look at that, make quick edits, and send that out. And it took that 7,000 ticket queue and it wiped it out when it brought down all the way down to 0 using generative AI capabilities. We also use it on the front end. So when you do any kind of contextual search through Marketplace, it's actually using the Amazon Nova model set to actually provide richer kind of natural language format search capabilities through our website. And then we provide all kinds of agentic tools through Marketplace as well. So we had our launch of our agents and tools Marketplace at our New York Summit. And that provides all kinds of technologies that are either using embedded generative AI capabilities as tools to go build your own generative AI capabilities. And then we actually integrate that into Amazon Bedrock Agent Core, which is our kind of runtime and foundation for our customers to go build and deploy agents into AWS. So, we're constantly looking to push the use of generative AI within our applications, and then also make it easier for our customers to adopt those technologies by virtue of Marketplace.
Yeah, Chris, I love it's not just the big players. How about the independent software vendors, the ISVs of the world, and startups? How are they using the technology to continue to scale globally?
Yeah, we see, all kinds of use cases from the largest companies in the world. So we work with the Salesforce, the SAPs, and then, as you mentioned, down to the startups. And Marketplace really becomes a great offering for our startups. If you look, a really good example is DataMass. This is a company that's out of New Zealand. And they use Marketplace to actually launch their product in the United States. And if you think about what they would have had to do without Marketplace, they would have had to figure out, how do we incorporate in the United States? How do we figure out the taxation laws? How do I find partners in that area? Marketplace streamlines all of that. And so it really provides this awesome leveling effect for these startups where now they can compete with the largest players in their space because Marketplace provides the same compensation model to our field and provides all this great benefit that they can ride on the backs of AWS Marketplace. And so that's a really good example. Drata, if you look at the inverse, they're a great example of an ISV built in the United States. They took their business from $0 to $100 million in ARR in 4 years, and they use Marketplace as their primary route to market. And so it just provided a great way for them to take their spend and then drop it directly on the AWS bill. And that provided all kinds of inertia for them to really grow their business. And so, we get to see all kinds of cool startup building and leveraging AWS and using Marketplace as that go-to-market motion.
Yeah, before I let you go, any top notable ISVs or startups that you and the team are watching that you think are really using the underlying technology in some cool, new, and inventive ways?
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of great examples. So Lizer is a great example. They were part of our agent tool marketplace launch. They provide a framework for customers to actually go and build these agents, right? If you take a look at agents in general, it's kind of the new form factor for how customers are actually going to deliver technology. And so they need the tools to go build these agents. And so now you can use technology like Lizer. You can build those technologies. Then you can actually use Amazon Bedrock Agent Core to then go deploy those. And so really good examples there. We're seeing a lot of our existing born in the cloud ISVs. You look at Snowflake or an Elastic as an example, or even Atlassian, they're continuing to build those tools in. So now you have an agentic offering that they can use for all their existing technologies. So really cool adoption. It's really seen an explosion. When we launched the AWS Marketplace for agents and tools, we had over 1,000 listings that are now part of that catalog. To put in perspective, when we launched our SaaS catalog, we launched with 50. And so you can see this explosion of different technologies that are being offered by virtue of agentic offerings. So really cool thing to be part of right now, and really excited about where it's going to go.
All right, thanks again to Chris Grews, Amazon Web Services Managing Director of Technology Partnerships, and of course, JD Durkin for that interview. We are going to take a short